Being a demon slayer is not a profession with a happy ending. Just like the scout regiment in Attack on Titan, the survival rate is brutally low. Even the Hashira, the Corps' strongest warriors, are not spared. Today we're going to go through the tragic deaths of demon slayers' most important characters, how they happened, why they mattered, and what impact they left behind. Yoriichi Tsugikuni. We begin with the greatest demon slayer of all time, Yoriichi Tsugikuni. Unlike most others, Yoriichi did not fall to a demon in combat. He was simply cursed by time. Even in his old age, his strength was so great that he fought Kokushibo, the Upper Moon One, while well past 80 years old. Despite his failing body, Yoriichi nearly killed Kokushibo with a single strike. But before he could finish the job, he finally succumbed to old age, passing away mid-battle. His death wasn't a loss to the demons, but rather a natural end to a man who had carried the weight of the entire Corps on his shoulders. Yoriichi's passing marked the end of an era, the Sengoku era Hashira. During Yoriichi's time, many Hashira awakened Slayer marks. These marks brought immense power, but they came with a curse. Anyone who bore one would die before the age of 25. This wiped out nearly all of Yoriichi's generation. They were strong enough to fight Upper Moons, but their shortened lifespan meant that none could survive long enough to carry on the fight. Their deaths remind us that power always comes with a cost. Masachika Kumeno. Masachika was Sanemi Shinazugawa's partner. Together they fought Ubume, a demon strong enough to challenge seasoned slayers. They succeeded in killing her, but Masachika's wounds were too severe. He died from his injuries soon after, leaving Sanemi devastated. Masachika's death was one of Sanemi's core motivations to grow stronger and climb the ranks to Hashira, carrying the weight of his fallen comrade. Kanae, the flower Hashira and older sister to Shinobu and Kanae, met her end at the hands of Upper Moon 2. Duma. She fought bravely and managed to hold him off until sunrise, but the injuries she sustained were fatal. In her final moments, Kanae told Shinobu not to seek revenge, urging her to live a peaceful life instead. Tragically, Shinobu ignored this wish, dedicating her life to killing Duma. Kanae's death wasn't just sad, it became the spark for her sister's tragic path. Ozaki. Ozaki was a lesser-known demon slayer who met her end during the Natagumo mountain arc. She was caught by Spider Mother's strings and her neck was snapped like a doll. Her death highlights just how dangerous the world of demons is. Not everyone is a Hashira or a prodigy. Most slayers are ordinary people, and many die nameless, unable to stand a chance against even mid-level demons. Kyojuro Rengoku. One of the most beloved Hashira, Kyojuro Rengoku's death still hurts fans to this day. During the Mugen train arc, he fought Upper Moon 3, Akaza. Despite fighting alone and protecting hundreds of passengers at the same time, Rengoku stood his ground and pushed Akaza to his very limits. His body was torn apart, his organs crushed, but he refused to fall until the sun rose. Though Rengoku ultimately died of his injuries, he inspired Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu to grow stronger. His death wasn't in vain, it was the spark that lit the next generation's fire. Jigoro Jigoro was Zenitsu's teacher and the former Thunder Hashira. His death wasn't in battle, but it was just as tragic. After Kaigaku, his disciple, betrayed the Corps and became a demon, Jigoro took responsibility as his master. Racked with guilt and shame, he committed seppuku. His death shows the strict honor code of the demon slayers, and it adds weight to Zenitsu's eventual victory over Kaigaku. He wasn't just avenging a friend, but also honoring his master's memory. Shinobu Kocho. Shinobu's death was one of the most brutal. During her battle against Duma, she fought valiantly, but her small frame and lack of raw strength put her at a disadvantage. Duma overpowered her and absorbed her into his body, but Shinobu had planned for this moment. For years, she had been filling her body with poison. By allowing herself to be absorbed, she turned her body into a living weapon. Her death allowed Kanae and Inosuke to finish the job, poisoning Duma from within. Shinobu's sacrifice was one of the smartest and most emotional moments in the series. Kaigaku, once a promising student of Jigoro and fellow disciple alongside Zenitsu, betrayed everything by becoming a demon. He rose to the rank of Upper Moon 6 but was ultimately killed by Zenitsu during their climactic fight. Zenitsu, who had once been timid and cowardly, used his new technique, 7th form, Honoikazuchi no Kami, to behead Kaigaku. Kaigaku's death was not noble. He died bitter, blaming others for his choices until the very end. In contrast, Zenitsu's growth as a warrior stood out even more. Kokushibo. Kokushibo, formerly Michikatsu Tsugikuni, was Yoriichi's twin brother and the Upper Moon One. During his fight with Gyomei, Sanemi, Muichiro, and Genya, Kokushibo was pushed further than ever before. Even after being beheaded, he transformed his body to avoid death. But in the end, it wasn't the Slayers who killed him. It was his own loss of will. Seeing his reflection, and realizing how far he had fallen from his brother's path, Kokushibo finally let go. His death was both tragic and poetic. A man who had chased strength for centuries, defeated not by others, but by himself. Muichiro Tokito, the Mist. Hashira, despite his young age, proved himself in the battle against Kokushibo. Muichiro's sword turned crimson and he landed critical hits that weakened Upper Moon 1. But the cost was his life. His body couldn't handle the injuries he received and he died alongside his older brother's memory. Muichiro's death reminds us how cruel the Demon Slayer world is. Someone so young, full of talent and potential, gone far too soon. Genya Genya, the younger brother of Sanemi, died in the same battle against Kokushibo. His demon powers allowed him to fight longer than most, but his body was ultimately torn apart. In his final moments, he told Sanemi how much he admired him and how proud he was to be his brother. Genya's death was one of the most heartbreaking, not just because he died, but because of the emotional closure it gave Sanemi. Gyomei Himejima, the stone Hashira, considered the strongest of the Hashira, died during the final battle against Muzan. He fought until his last breath, using his sheer strength and unbreakable will to keep Muzan at bay. Even after sustaining mortal wounds, Gyomei did not falter. He died standing like a true warrior. His loss was devastating as he was the Corps' greatest shield. Mitsuri and Obanai, their deaths were tragic yet beautiful. During the final battle against Muzan, both sustained fatal injuries. With their bodies broken, they held each other close in their final moments. Obanai finally confessed his love to Mitsuri and she returned his feelings. They died together hand in hand but were reincarnated in the modern era, this time able to live peaceful, happy lives. Their death showed that even in tragedy, love and hope endure. Everyone else. As for the rest of the characters, most passed away naturally of old age. The Kamado family descendants, the reincarnations of the Hashira, and others all lived peaceful lives in the modern world. After centuries of bloodshed, their souls finally found peace. The deaths in Demon Slayer are more than just shock value. Each one carries meaning, whether it's to inspire growth, to pass on a legacy, or to show the cost of war. The story makes it clear. The fight against demons is not glorious, it is brutal, merciless, and often ends in tragedy. Yet it's through these tragedies that the next generation finds the strength to keep moving forward.